Hey guys, this is Isha.
Hi Maya.
And what's up?
Welcome to Hiubang Show.
So-
As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, comment on this video, and turn the bell on.
So guys, let's talk about not the video. Let's talk about our requester.
Our requester, our top requester,
Indian facts.
Indian facts.
Really? You know, the title itself, because the title of the video that's being requested is like 8 easy peasy reasons why India will rule the world in 2050. It's like, wait, don't tell me. I know who requests this. I know who requests this.
Isa came to conclusion
it's
just
Indian.
by judging the
Just judging from the title
of the
all
video.
the facts video about India, I think came from most of them, not all of them. Most of them came from Indian facts.
Okay. So
Love you, sir or ma'am. Love you. Anyway, guys,
without further ado, let's take the
check it
video.
out. Easy peasy.
When you hear a country described as a superpower, which one do you think of first? You probably don't even have to think that much. It's easy peasy. Superpowers are the US, China, and Russia. And what would you say if we told you that India will rule the world in a couple of decades? Hey, stop laughing, bro. Do you think that it's a far cry from a superpower? Well, this idea may seem half-baked. India is still associated with poverty and corruption, but things are going to change by 2050. India will definitely start ruling the world by the middle of the 21st century. Do you want to know why? Easy peasy. We won't beat around the bush, and we'll give you 8 main reasons why it's going to happen. 8. Geographical location. As you guys know, India is a part of the Asian continent along with China, Japan, and many other countries. It may not be the best location, as India experiences monsoon season each year, which often ends up in flooding. But India has an ace in the hole. It lies in the sunny tropical belt. A very good question appears. Maybe, how is it possible to eat tons of spicy food in such hot weather? No, not that one, though it is reasonable. The question is, how on earth is abundance in sunlight going to help India rule the world? The answer is easy peasy, bro. When humanity finally realizes that using fossil fuel is stripping Earth of its natural resources, people will finally accept and implement renewable energy. Solar energy will be the perfect choice. There is some chance that it will happen before 2050.
Really likes
Thus,
SpongeBob
India
SquarePants.
will be at an advantage. 7. Military might. India has the second largest army in the world with 1.4 million personnel. Only the Chinese army outnumbers it. Impressive, isn't it? Of course, we can't judge only the number of people. The 2018 defense budget is 3.8 trillion rupees, or 52 billion US dollars. Regarding military aircraft, India is number 4 in the world. It possesses about 11,000 fighter jets. And regarding the battle tanks, it's number 6 in the world. Add the naval forces, which are also quite impressive in India, and you'll get a lethal cocktail. Even worse than the spiciest Indian dish. More than that, India is said to possess a nuclear weapon. Holy cow! To summarize, the Indian army can compete only with the US and Chinese ones. India is armed to the teeth. Next, do you know any Indian jokes? Okay, we'll tell you one. It's easy peasy. One Indian asks another, how would you say Mozzie to take a dip in the river? The second Indian answers, diplomacy. So funny. I don't get it either. So, our next reason is 6. Diplomacy. India doesn't mess around with other nations. Well, except for Pakistan. How will India improve relations with Pakistan? Not so easy peasy. Maybe people should just continue smuggling cows through the tunnel between the two countries. That unites, doesn't it? Most likely it won't help. Anyway, the US seems to be on the side of India, so who cares? India has not been involved in other international conflicts. Indians have a beef with, well, nobody. Well, you know, in all meanings of it. Indians have helped other countries in their critical condition of any kind. A great plus to their karma. There is a high chance that quite soon India will get a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. It would be India's biggest success in terms of a diplomatic point of view. India has been a strategic partner with the US and also keeps relations with Russia, China, Japan, Australia, Europe, and other Middle East countries. Overall, its diplomatic standing is really good. Keep it up, India. 5. Democracy. India is considered to be the largest democracy and also has the highest voter turnout. Unlike China, it gives its citizens freedom of speech and expression. Yes! People are even allowed to marry animals. It's easy peasy for them. Like one woman who married a snake, or this guy who married a dog. Freedom! But seriously, democracy does create a strong government. And a good and strong government can help the country become developed. Easy peasy. 4. Economic growth. The British ruled India from 1858 until 1947. Since gaining its independence from the United Kingdom, India has become an autonomous country. In 1991, India adopted a market-based economy and has since become one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. No wonder. Indians have great potential to improve their economy. Rapid changes in the Indian economy have exploded onto the international world, and India has become the #1 producer of many goods and services. It produces machinery, biochemicals, pharmaceuticals, electronics, textiles, and many other things. Tourists are ready to pay tons of money to Indians for wonderful sightseeing and food. Expecting some jokes about food? Too bad. We've got none. 70% of all spices in the world come from India. This one seems the most important for the economy. Despite the fact that a large part of the Indian population is still extremely poor and lives on less than $2 per day, over 1 million millionaires live in India. Indian housewives hold 11% of the world's gold. It's more than the reserves of the US, Switzerland, Germany, and the International Monetary Fund combined. Not too shabby, housewives. You still don't believe that the Indian economy has the potential to grow? Well, the things we've mentioned may seem lame, so let's consider strong arguments. Stronger than the strongest Indian spices. India has a large current GDP and a high growth rate of the GDP. Over the last half-decade, it has been up over 7%. Some countries, like the US, have a larger GDP, but they can't boast such a rapid growth of it. Currently, all major multinational companies like GM, Boeing, Motorola, Cisco, HP, and others have started investing in India. Of course, they rely on Indian engineers for their next generation of products. So, the Indian economy is likely to rise significantly in the future. 3. Population. India is the 7th largest country in the world and has over 3 million square kilometers of land, with less than 10% of the land occupied by water. The best conditions to be fruitful and multiply. The country has 28 states and 7 territories. It is home to over 1 billion people, and each year their population grows exponentially. India already has more population than the entire Western Hemisphere of Earth. Well done, India. Why is the birth rate in India so high? Easy peasy. Indians reincarnate. And the rate is high even despite the fact that marrying between different castes is still taboo in India. Yeah, one day will come and the low caste people will not curry favor with the high caste ones. Curry flavor. Good old Indian curry. Where were we? Oh yeah, the population. Although the population of India and China are approximately the same nowadays, it has been predicted that India may surpass China in terms of population by 2030. And by 2050, it will become the most populous country in the world. With 1.6 billion people, it will almost equal China's and the US populations combined. Easy peasy for India. 2. Science and technology. India has made its place as a leading producer of computer software. The Bangalore is the second largest outlet of ICT companies in the world. It's predicted to grow bigger than Silicon Valley. India is also investing much money in development and research centers. Indians established ISRO. Do you know what it stands for? Easy peasy. Indians seeking revenge on you. Well, there's no why. Okay, you got me. It stands for Indian Space Research Organization, which sounds much cooler, by the way. India was the 3rd country to establish a national space agency. So, India already has an edge over many other countries when we talk about technology or science. And these spheres are developing at a high speed. Imagine what will happen by 2050. 1. The underdog. Most people still underestimate the power of India. When you mention the country, they think of corruption and poverty. And these stereotypes won't change fast. India will probably have the status of a developing country for another 10 years or so. Therefore, powerful countries like the US, China, and Russia will not consider India to be a serious competitor for world leadership. Fools! Meanwhile, India will not miss its golden opportunity to develop. India will probably lie low, and its power will exponentially grow. Forgot to take my pills for my rhyme mania? Okay, back to the point. When other countries admit that India is a serious rival, it will be too late. India will be well on its way to world domination. An easy peasy strategy. And there you have
the guy keep on saying easy peasy, palaku sakit eh. So we have just reacted to that, which is easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Oh my god, he keep on saying the word easy.
We should counting the easy peasy.
Like every like 30 seconds or so, I think he keep on saying like easy peasy. Anyway, but the animation was very interesting. A lot of pop culture references, Rick and Morty, SpongeBob SquarePants, was it yellow one? Simpson, Dumbo elephants. However, let's talk about the content itself.
The content itself.
So, all the developing countries around Southeast Asia, Indonesia,
Thailand, Philippines,
including India. I don't count Singapore because I think Singapore is pretty much developed. All these countries are racing, even in our previous presidential campaign. A lot of rhetorics of what's going to happen in 2030 in one of the debate and stuff like that. Of course, our elect president, which is Pak Jokowi Widodo, is saying that Indonesia must be prepared for Web 4.0 in the next 5 years. So, of course, hopefully, we want Indonesia to be on the race also, to be also in the same level as all these countries, or maybe even more.
At least we can we have the same path like India.
Hopefully. It's
like 5 to 10 years later.
Hopefully. Anyway, so it's very interesting because like a lot of facts there. I mean, I've been reading up a lot on all these issues, on who is going to be the next leader of the global economy and all that kind of stuff, technology, and I know India is definitely potentially it's going to be the forerunner of the countries in the front. One day it's going to be China. I think it's going to be
China and US.
I think that's what's going to happen. However, it's going to be very interesting. The last 10 years, no. The last 5 years has been very, very strange in the world. With the US having Donald Trump as a president has been causing a lot of issues. Not saying political, it's just it's the fact that it's happening right now. Indonesia has its presidential election. A lot of things gonna happen, and hopefully, if things stay constant, maybe and just maybe India will become maybe earlier than that to become one of the leader of the world in maybe 2040 maybe.
And I think that's a good news, because now the trend is going to ease. So we have potential to grow like India.
Hopefully Indonesia is somewhere around in the front also, maybe, hopefully. So as always, guys, that was very interesting. Indian facts, thank you for your request.
Thank you for the recommendation.
And
see you next time.
I'll see you guys.
Bye.